Hello guys. Good morning, every one of you. Welcome you all to AI Ki Pathshala. I am Anup, and today we are going to conduct this session on Git and GitHub. So this is the first session on Git and GitHub. Those of you who are watching my recorded session on YouTube or on any other platform and want to join my free session, absolutely free, of course, cost, you can go to the description section of the video and join my Telegram group link. There I update the details of my upcoming classes, and I often conduct classes at 10 p.m. IST every day. So you can join me for free and just learn and grow, and let us build a community of intellectual like-minded people. So now I'm going to share you my screen and see guys how I'm going to conduct this session. This session will be a little bit longer. So what I'm going to do, the first half of the session, we will be covering the theory of in and around GitHub. And after that, we will take a break of maybe 20-25 minutes. And thereafter, in the second half, we will do the hands-on coding part. We will practically see how things work in Git and GitHub. So this is how I have structured this session. Secondly, if you guys will be having any doubts, if the doubts will be small dots, I will be taking the doubts and solving your issues. But let's say if you're at your end, if something is not working, your system is not working in the way it should work or something like that, and it would take like much time. Maybe sometimes it happens that it will take to resolve 1 hour or maybe half an hour, or a lot of time it takes to resolve the issues, because issues of individual system is very different because all of you are on different systems having different configuration and everything. So it will be difficult for me to resolve all your issues during this session, because otherwise this 3-hour session will get stretched to 6 hours or maybe 8 hours. So that I don't want to do. So what I'm going to do, if you are unable to do it at your end, let's focus on the class and understand what I'm going to explain. And recorded session is always available to you. So you can watch the recording, and after that, maybe tomorrow or any other day, I will keep a separate doubt clearing session for Git and GitHub, in which I will be taking the doubts of your individual doubts. I will be taking and resolving the issues. You can share me your screen, and I will be guiding you how to sort out the issues. So hope this thing is clear to you guys. May I get a quick yes or no?
Yes.
Other guys?
Yes.
Fine. Let me. So now let me share you my screen first. And is my whiteboard visible to you? Are you able to see my whiteboard?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So let's focus on the class. I have switched off my video so that you can concentrate on the screen. And whenever in between I need to talk to you directly, I will switch on my video. So let's first understand. I'm going to write a lot of things on this board. And at the end of the session, I will also be sharing you this thing, this entire write-up that I will be writing here. And if you want, you can also note down in your own handwriting. That would also be a good idea. Because whenever you write things in your own way, it will be easy for us to remember things and revise it. So that is all. So let's see what we are going to do today. So see, let me give you a couple of pointers before we get started. So this session is called How to Use GitHub. And this is the first session we are doing in and around GitHub. So it will cover the basics around the GitHub. Those of you who are at some advanced level and watching this video, you may not find it very much useful. So I will be covering the advanced part of the Git and GitHub little bit later. First, I will cover the basics, and then after the basics, I will be covering the advanced part some other day, maybe in the future. So the whole objective of this session is I am going to write the whole objective of this session. So these are my objectives. Showcase your work or portfolio. This is my objective. What is my objective? To showcase your work or build your portfolio. So whosoever is connected with the IT industry or software industry or programming, so this GitHub is very much important for them. So first thing is that I want to showcase my work, whatever project, whatever things you are doing, you can showcase that thing with the help of Git and with the help of GitHub. You can also build your portfolio. What portfolio means? Portfolio simply means whatever work you are doing and you want to showcase that work to your potential recruiter or maybe to someone, you can use this platform to showcase your work. So any one of you who are SD means software development engineer, DS data scientist, ML machine learning scientist, all those people, for all those people, this GitHub is very important. So what we do with it? Show the code. The code. We will show the code on GitHub. GitHub. We will write about it. Write about it. That means the blog. What is blog? See, whatever work you are doing, you have to write about that work. The writing about the thing that you are doing is called blog. So you can write the blog. And for writing blog, there are two options. You can use any medium to write the blog, or you can use GitHub pages. GitHub pages. These are the two options with you. you can use any one of the two pages. On the GitHub page, whatever things you are doing, you can write about it. And you can showcase their thing to anyone. Maybe your potential recruiter, maybe if you are going for some higher education, you can showcase that to the university, or maybe you can you are doing some PhD, so you can showcase all those things. And the third thing is that show a demo. Let's see, as a data scientist or as a ML engineer, you have built something and you want to show a demo of that thing. So you can show the demo with the help of web app or mobile app. So for doing all these three things, GitHub plays a very crucial and vital role in your work. Here, the portfolio means maybe our work means the project. You can understand it as a project that you are doing. And so anything related to the programming, there are broadly three approaches. Fine. These are the three approaches. Either you show the code, you write about it, and you show a demo. Let's say you have done some project and you have written that project in your resume, and you want to showcase that work to your potential recruiter. So what they people do, before taking your interview or at the time of interview, they will just click on the link that you have given, your GitHub link, and they will see your work. So it will be easy. They will maybe they will spend some half an hour before taking an interview. They will spend half an hour and see whatever work you have done, and you have presented that work to them on the GitHub. They can read about it, whatever blog, and see what happens. For anyone else, it is very difficult to read each and every line of code. So if you just write a blog about it, if you write whatever work you have done, if you write about it, so it will be very easy for the recruiter also. So they can read a blog, maybe that blog 10, 20, 30 minutes they will spend and read about the work, and they will come to understand what work you are actually presenting to them. And if you showcase a demo of that work with the help of web app and mobile app, it is much more easier for them to actually see the things practically that you have done it. So this is how, and based on that, they will take you an interview. Or if you want to present your work anywhere else, this is one of the best method these days. For anything related to programming, you can showcase it. And in this demo, what you can do, you can build a simple web page and write about your work. So this is one way to showcase your work. Now let me add a next page. Are you able to see my next screen? Is it a blank screen or not? Please confirm.
Yes.
Fine. So now,
Yes.
let me give you the agenda of today's class. What will be my agenda? Let's write the agenda. First thing, I will be covering you basics of DVC and Git. Second thing, I will show you how to showcase your code using GitHub. Using GitHub. Third thing, I will be discussing the basic commands. I will not be covering the advanced commands, but I will be covering the basics command, because everything is not possible in the in the first session itself. So this session I will be covering only the basic commands. And also I will be directing you at the end to the resources to learn. These are the 4 things I am going to do today. What is DVC? The full form of DVC is distributed version control. Distributed version control. So I will be talking. So is this clear to you? Now let's come to the main thing. So let me first tell you a few things about the Git. See, Git as a concept was created by Linus Torvalds. Linus Torvalds in
What is
2000.
the difference between Git and DVC?
Okay, I will be talking in few minutes. DVC is distributed version control. That I will be talking you in some time.
Okay.
Is it fine? So because I will be going to cover this thing. So I have just told you that I am going to cover these things, this DVC and all those, and now I am going to cover all those things.
Okay.
Fine. So I will be coming here. So Git as a concept was created by Linus Torvalds. He is a scientist and he has created this concept of Git in 2005. Who was Linus Torvald? Linus Torvald was a creator of Linux operating system. OS means operating system. So he is the person, Linus Torvald is the person who has created Linux operating system. So first he has created the Linux operating system, and then he has primarily created Git to manage the use code repository of Linux. So this Linus Torvald primarily created Git to manage use code repository of Linux. So he has not created, at that time, he has not created Git with whatever thing we are doing today, what seeing as a Git today. Earlier, he has created Git just to manage the use code repository of Linux operating system, because at that time, he was building the Linux operating system, and primarily in the Linux, we are using assembly language and some C language code. So it was written in that. So to manage that repository, he has used that. Now see, Linux, let me take some next page. Git is such a beautifully designed system that now it is used by vast majority of open source system and a lot of corporate system. Open source system and corporate system nowadays use Git as a version control system, DVC, distributed version control. I will be talking in some time what is this distributed. So I suppose almost more than 90% of the corporate use this Git as a open source version control system. So why they use this? They use this to collaborate and create different versions of the software. And let me tell you, this version control is a very standard tool for software development and maintenance and update. So thereafter, this GitHub was started. I will tell you the difference between Git and GitHub later. So GitHub was a very popular startup, startup. And later it get acquired by, it was a starter and later it become very famous and it get acquired by Microsoft. So now GitHub is a company owned by Microsoft. So tell me one thing, Git is basically, you can understand it as it's a technology for version control system, built by Linus Torvalds. So if Git is this, then what is GitHub? Git is basically a technology. With the help of that technology, you can version control your system. So what is the version control? Let me tell you, I will be giving you a complete details about the version control, everything. Let's suppose you have built one software and the version of that software is, see, what will happen every time you may be using WhatsApp or some other app. So after some time, you see the update comes and you have to update that software or that app or that application. So what happens is that there is some additional features get added to it, or maybe some bug which the engineers sitting there and developing the things, they find some bug and they want to correct it. So what they are doing, they are changing something in their code. Or if these new features get added, so what they add some new codes, they change something, and that is the and you are getting the update of it. So when you update the app, or when you update the any application, then you will get the updated version of that app. So all this phenomena, so maybe let's say the initial version was V1, and the later they have released version 2, V2 version, and after some time they release V3 version, and after some time they release V4 version. So they keep the track of all the versions, and they help you to work with different versions. How this will work, I am going to explain you. Let's understand now what is GitHub. This is about Git. So what is GitHub? So GitHub is a, let me write you a definition of GitHub. Cloud-based hosting services, CLOUD, cloud-based hosting services. This is where you can host Git repositories. So whatever thing you will be doing in your Git, you can host that on a cloud-based platform, that is on a cloud-based platform or on a server called GitHub. GitHub is actually a server, a cloud-based server, where you can host your Git repositories. Whatever repositories you are building in Git, you can host that repositories on GitHub. So one very important thing that I would like to share with you, you can use Git without using GitHub. This is very important. GitHub. Some of the very large corporate firm, what they do not use GitHub, but they use Git. But they have made, because they are such a large company, they have built a GitHub like system. They have built their own GitHub like system, and whatever they do, they put that into their own platform. So they are using the technology Git, but they are not using the cloud-based hosting services, that is the GitHub. But almost all these startups, or most of the medium or even the very big giants, use both Git and GitHub. So it is quite possible that you can use Git without using GitHub. Is this thing okay for you? Is this thing okay for you? Am I get some answer from you guys?
I mean, what is the reason that one can use only Git without using GitHub?
Okay. See, GitHub is a cloud-based system. Fine.
Yes.
Git is a technology. You can understand in this way. Git is a technology. With the help of technology, you can version control your code, your source code. You can version control your source code. And GitHub is a cloud-based hosting services where you can host your Git repositories. But it is quite possible that maybe some organization have built their own GitHub kind of server for their own company, and they are not using the GitHub. That's why they are not using the GitHub. This is quite possible.
So when you say host, so hosting just basically means saving your file, or you mean something
Okay,
different?
I will explain you these things. Wait for some time. I will be explaining you all those things. So let me now stop sharing you my this screen. I want to stop share. I will be explaining you just in a moment. So let me share you my desktop. See, I'm going to explain you these things. So now this will be clear to you. Are you guys able to see this clearly?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, let's see. So this is one thing that I have downloaded from the internet, from the Wikipedia, and I'm going to explain you this thing. So let's concentrate. You will be able to understand all those queries that you are presently having. See, how this version control works, or distributed version control works, you will understand in this with the help of this diagram. How the distributed version control actually works. See, let's say I am building a software or I am building some application, and here all my source code is there. Source code means whatever the code that I have built is present here. This is called the main. This is called the main branch. This straight line 1, 4, this green thing that you are seeing in green, 1, 4, 3, this straight line is called the main branch. And let's say there is already a group of software engineers have built one software, and who has the group of the group of software engineers has built this, have written some code, and let's say this software, this code that they have written and released the version, that is called v1 v1.0, let's say. So this is my version 1, v1.0 version of the software. Now let's say there are 10 software engineers who are working simultaneously on different modules of the software, and they have got assigned different work for writing the code. Let's say this is one guy. So what they will do, they have created one branch. This is my main branch. This is my main branch called main. This is this straight line branch is my main branch. So what they have done, I have assigned some work to this guy. So what they are doing, they have created one separate branch. And without disturbing this code, whatever code is present here, they are not disturbing this code. They are simply copying all the code in this branch. Let's say this is one branch, and they have created a separate copy of the code here. Let's say there is another software engineer working on it, and they have also, let's say there is another software engineer here, Likewise, let's say there is another software engineer here. Likewise, let's say there is another software engineers. There is another software engineer. Let's say there are 10 software engineers here. So all the 10, what they have done, they have created a separate branch for working. And in each branch, they have copied all the code from here to that branch. And now, what they have done, they have started working on that code. And let's say they have added or they have modified this code a little bit, or they have added some more features in it, or whatever task they are assigned to do, they have done that task. They have added some more features, some more functions, they have written some more code there. And after writing that code, it will get tested. There is a separate guy present there. There is a separate team which will verify, which will test whatever code. There is a testing team which will verify whatever code this developer has written to the testing team. Testing team will verify that. And when it get verified, and then there is a manager who is managing all those things, usually called product manager, or in some company there is a different name, but usually product manager, which will approve that tested code. And finally, what happens? They merge that code, they update their code here. They will send their code to this branch to here, or they will update the code here. And what finally they will do, they can also update the code here. And what finally they can do, they can merge their code in the main branch. This is my side branch I have taken. And now whatever update this guy, whatever work they have done, whatever code they had updated, whatever new features they have added, after getting properly verified and tested, all those code get merged in the main branch. This branch, this main branch, the code get merged in the main branch. And after merging, let's say this is my version 2 of the software. Similarly, these software engineers who are working separately on different aspect of the software, they are also writing the some code, or they are also modifying the some code, or they are removing the some code which is not necessary, or they are finding some bugs and removing that bugs. And finally, their code will also get tested, verified, and the manager, product manager, will approve that code. And there is a separate team which will going to integrate all those code. So whatever code these guys are writing or changing or modifying, there is one separate team which will be monitoring their modification, and they integrate it. And they will merge that code with the main branch. This is my main branch. This is also called trunk. So trunk is basically what? Trunk is basically the main branch is called trunk. You can also think of trunk as a stable version. I am writing here. You can think of trunk as a stable version. Stable version. You can think of trunk as a stable version. Fine. So now this version 2 gets updated. Now let's suppose here is some other guy, and I have provided it a tag T1. What is this tag T again? Tag T1 is a branch. Tag T1 yeah, tag. There are different kinds of tag. This is some advanced thing, so we will cover it later. Here, for your understanding, let's understand this tag as it's branches. It's a branches which cannot be simplified further. Cannot be simplified further. Fine. Branches. This is a tag which cannot be simplified further. Hope this is clear to you. Now let's say when the version 2 get released, after this, let me delete this. After this version 2 get released, version 2.0. Now again, there are few software engineers who has assigned some tasks. So he has taken this branch and called this number 5 and started working on this branch, adding some code, writing some functions, modules, whatever thing. There is another guy who has taken the branch. So what this branch means? See, what branch means that whatever this code is present in the main branch, so they are not disturbing this code. Simply what they are taking a copy of this code here, and in whatever way they want to modify that code, they can modify it without disturbing the original source code that is present here. This is a source code, original source code, and let's say this system is in production. Production means, let's say this is a live system, or let's say if it is a live system, so it is not going to disturb this code. What they are doing, they are simply copying all those code and then doing the changes. And when finally that changes get approved and tested and they merge that change to the main branch, when they merge that change to the main branch, what will happen? Whatever source code that was here get changed to this new source code with some additional features, and here we get, let's say, version 3 of the software. Let's understand this thing in a little bit more better way. Let's see here. Here, this guy has started working on this branch. They have taken one branch and they have started working on this branch. They have done some work. Thereafter, they have passed their work to some other maybe software developer. They have also done work. And finally, whatever they are trying to achieve with this thing, they are not able to do it. So what will happen? They discontinued the development. Here, they have discontinued the development. So now this branch is called dead branch. What this is called? Dead branch. Why dead branch? Because they have discontinued the development. But let's say they have discontinued right now, but maybe in the future, after some time, if they realize that no, whatever thing that we are doing at that point of time, I want to carry on that work. So they can anytime come back here and start the development again. Is this thing clear to you? Now let's understand one more thing here. When this guy, including the 10 other software guy that I have told you, have copied that code in their branch and had done some work, and then finally when they merge the code, this V2 version get released. Now, each one of this software developer are working here, each one of the, let's say, 10 software developer that working there, they have only the copy of the code that they have modified, but they don't have the copy of the code that the other software guys have modified. So now at this point of time, when all the code from different softwares get into software guy, engineers guy, software developer get is taken, tested, approved, and merged with this branch. Now this branch is having the code from all the different software developer guy, code from all the different software gear, and finally the version 2 get released. Now what will happen at this point of time? Again, all the 10 software engineers, they will pull this code, they will take this code, they will again pull that code, or they will again take a copy of that code in their own branch, and their branch get updated with the new code. And thereafter, they will start working on the new thing. And this process will continue going on till the life process of this software development. And let's say this software engineer is has come is in some branch, and if he wants to go back and see what work they have and whatever branch they are taking, what this version control is doing, they are saving a copy of all those things. That's why it is called distributed version control, because you are controlling every version of the thing that you are doing. Let's say you are here and you want to see what I have done here. You can come back here and see your code. And if you want, you can again change your code from here, or you can take the code from here. Let's say you have come here and you have gone in some branch here, 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 and here. Let's say you have created from here this 3 branch, and from here you have gone here. And if you want to come back here, you can always come back here. Let's say this is one branch. This was one branch that I have just not told you. And a software guy has a developer have started working on this code. And finally, they realized that this can't be worked out. So they have discontinued the development on this branch, and this is called dead branch. But maybe sometime later in the future, they thought that this can be done. So all these things, whatever work they have done here, is not get lost. It is saved in the version control system. It is saved in the Git. This is what Git is about. They are controlling the different version of the code that you are doing, that you are writing. So they can come back anytime here, and whatever code they have written is present, and they can again start working from here. Is this thing clear to you or not? Please tell me. Guys, please tell me, is this thing clear to you or not? Is there any confusion till here? Please tell me.
Nope.
Others?
What if you are not using tag?
What? Will you please repeat?
T1 and T2.
T1, T2. Okay, I'm explaining you. I have told you. Okay. And any other doubt? Mr. Amit?
No, I'm good here. I do have some points, but I will discuss later.
Okay, fine. So see what this tag is. I have explained you that thing earlier. There are different tags. We will discuss all those things. That was a little bit advanced thing, but understand this tag as a most stable version which you can think of tag as a branch which cannot be simplified further. cannot be simplified further.
That is version 2, na? That is
Yes.
number 4.
If
Version
let's
2 will not be simplified.
if let's say
Why do we add a tag to this?
that I will be discussing you why we are adding tag and what are the different types of tag. At this point of time, you just understand this is a branch which cannot be simplified further. We cannot able to simplify this branch.
Okay.
Because I have told you in the initial, we are covering the very basics. So if we keep digging, so this session will become 6-hour session. So just for the time being, let's understand this T1 is the tag, is the branch which cannot be simplified further. Let's say you have, so I have given this as a tag T1. I have taken one branch and now I have worked and now I do not want to work on this branch anymore. This is what I have. So I have given this tag T1.
But
Fine.
when you are telling that it cannot be simplified further, then again from 4 to 6 to 7 to 9, and then again T2 is added. That means again there is some simplification.
This is a separate branch, na? This is one branch. See, this is one branch, this is one branch, this is one branch. I will be discussing you all those things. Fine.
Okay. Okay.
And you must be confused with this trunk. I have also told you what trunk is.
Yeah.
Trunk is the thing that is the most stable version of the software. Let's say this is trunk 1. This is also called trunk. This is also called trunk. Fine. See what it is, and this is called main. Earlier, this branch was called master. Earlier, it was called master. Now this master has been changed to main. So this master was changed to main. Now this is called main. So this is my main branch and this is my sub branches. So whatever whatever thing that is present in the main branch, this is called trunk. Why this is called trunk? Trunk is the most stable version. Trunk is the most stable version. Why this is called most stable version? Let's say this is one version V1 and this is one version V2. In between these two, there is a development process. There is a development process in which different software developers are working on different parts, different modules. So whatever is coming in between is not so much stable unless we are merging all those changes and merge it in the main branch. This is we always merge our code in the main branch. So when this is merged, now this all this code came to the main branch. Similarly, we are doing this. Here I have given tag T1. Here I have given tag T2. Is this thing clear? Now, let's move to the second part of this thing. Let me share you. Okay, let me clear this screen and let me share this thing. Now, here I will be giving you a detail about the difference. You will be understanding the difference between Git and GitHub. What is Git and what is GitHub? So I will be explaining you the difference between Git and GitHub. So let's concentrate here. Please be focused here. See, this is one developer. Let's say this is one developer. This is my first developer. This is second developer, and this is third developer. So when they are working on some development project, some software development program, let's say. So where they are working? They are working in their laptop or in their PC or in their desktop. They're working on there. So they have a working copy of the code. They have with them the working of copy of the code. So whatever work they are doing, let's say they are working on a same project. There are 3 software development. They are working on the same project and they are working on their own PC. That is own laptop or desktop, whatever they think they are working. And they are making some changes. They are writing some code, whatever thing they are doing. So what they are doing, they are committing it in their local repository. The local repository, that means the repository that is present in their desktop, in their laptop or desktop or PC. So whatever changes they are doing, they are committing that changes to the local repository, also called local repository repository. I am writing a short form, and they are committing it. That means whatever they are, whatever branches they are taking here, just like we have seen in the previous thing, they are making a branches, making a changes and then committing it. So whatever changes they are committing in their local system, that is called Git. So Git always happens locally in your own system. When you update whatever software you are building, whatever changes you are doing, whatever code you are writing, and when we are updating that, when you are committing that code in your local repository, in your local system, on your laptop or in your desktop, that is called Git. So Git always occurs in your local system. And from the local system, let's say, when you have committed that changes to your local system, now you want that same thing to, you want to host that same thing to the server. I have already told you GitHub is mainly a, what GitHub is? GitHub is a server, cloud-based server, you can say, CLOUD, cloud-based server. So whatever changes you are made in first, whatever code you are writing, you are committing that code, or whatever changes you are making, you are changing the same thing in your local repository, that is in your local Git. And from there, you are pushing that changes to the server. And what this server is? GitHub is my server. The first you are committing the changes in your local repository, and then you are pushing the changes from your local repository to the GitHub server. And when you push that code to the GitHub server, then that code will, then GitHub will that this repository, what that is present in the GitHub, will get updated with the code that you have changed. Similarly, there's other developer who are working in their local system. So whatever work they have done, they are first committing it in their local repository, and from the local repository, they are pushing their changes to the server. That is the GitHub. And same thing, this third developer is working on some code. They are committing the same code in their, first they are committing the code in their local repository. From local repository, yeah, they are pushing the changes to the GitHub server. Now all the 3 developer have worked on some code and they have pushed that changes to the repository. Now this working copy, right now the working copy that these guys are having, they are having only the working copy of the code that they have changed. But what this developer had made changes in their code and what this developer has made changes, they do not have. they only have a copy of the changes that they have made in their local system, but they do not have the copy of the code that other developers, let's say 500 developers are working on the same project, or 100 developers are working on the same project. So what other developers are changing in their local system, they do not have the access to that code. So what this GitHub is doing actually, so let's understand this. When these guys have pushed their changes here, so what, there is a separate team which will take that changes, merge that changes to the main branch that I have already explained you. They will test it, integrate it, and merge it in the main branch. Now what these developers will do, whatever changes all the developers have made, when they get merged here, they pull the changes. So when they pull the changes, when they will pull the changes from this repository, when they will pull the changes, it will first come to their local repository. It will come to the laptop, or to the local Git that is present in their system. First, the change get pulled to their local repository. That means the repository that is present locally on their system. That is Git. What is the locally that is present is Git. So all those changes that all the developers have made is copied to their local repository. And from local repository, they are updating the working copy. The code in which they are working, they will update that code, the working copy of the code, they will update here in their local repository. And finally here, they have all the changes of the code which all the developers have made is present here. Similarly, this developer will also pull the changes from the repository, and they will, what they will do, they will keep a copy of the repository. When they will pull the changes, first the changes will get pulled to their local repository. That means their local, their Git, their laptop or desktop. And from there, they will update the working copy that they are working on there. Similarly, this developer will again pull the changes and update their working copy. And this process will keep on going. Again, now, all the three developers, after this process, what will happen? All the three developers, let's say here, all the three developers will have the updated copy of all the code that has changed. Now they will start working on the updated copy. Now they will start working on the updated copy in their local system. And again, they will keep on doing the same thing. When they have worked on a particular thing, they will commit it first to their local. From local, they will push the changes to the server, that is the GitHub. And finally, same these things. And they will, after all the codes get ready, they can always pull the changes from there in their local, and they will update their working copy. Is there any? This is how the whole distributed version control works. Is there any doubt till here? You can ask. I'm giving you a few minutes. Mr. Amit, have you understood this?
Yes. So basically, a repository is something where we are saving a file. So just saving the file and taking the update and updated one for our working, isn't it?
This, are you talking about this local or yeah,
The
this
cloud-based.
Yes. So see, if you go now, let's give you a little bit more backgrounds to make the things more understandable.
And also, when you say software, so what kind of software you mean? Like any file, like let's say the AutoCAD file, or any machine control file, or anything.
Anything.
that
When I say software, I mean to say code. When I say
code.
software, I mean to say code. When you build
Okay.
any software, what we are doing? Either you are writing a code simply.
I mean, code is something. It can be some different languages now. Let's say not in
Yes, yes,
Python or
yes,
C plus
yes,
plus.
yes, yes. It can be of. It is independent of the version control. Is independent of the language. Any
Okay.
any whatever language is present in this world, whatever thing you can do the version control with that.
So GitHub also helps to compare the file. Like, uh, uh, let's say I downloaded a file from my repository, okay, and I worked on it. But when I'm like pushing that up, let's say I haven't made any changes, so will Git gives a alarm or any kind of comparison that this is the same file, or like any kind of alarm like this is the same file, or there is no changes, or like any number of things that this number of things have
You
changed.
Yes, yes. It will show you.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, it will show you. There is a thing that will show you what the things that you have done there, what are the changes that you have made, everything that it will give you. And
So
when we work
compare
on a
also.
software, let's say when we work on a software, let's are you yeah, are you seeing this thing? Let me
Yeah,
explain.
yeah, I can.
Yeah. So what we are doing here, let's say this is some source code present here. And let's say for the timing what that I'm trying to explain you what you have asked. So I have, you as a software developer have taken one branch, or let's say your manager has assigned you some task that you worked on this module. So some module, they have assigned you some module and assigned you some tasks. So you do this task. And there's some other guy in your team, and they have assigned let's say some other module. They have this product manager has or your manager has assigned some different tasks to him, and they told both of you to work on different thing. So you have taken this branch from this source code. So what you are doing, you are taking the entire copy of this code in your branch without disturbing this code. And now you started working on your code. When you started working on your code, so what you are doing, and finally, let's say you have completed your code. So first you will, when you complete your code, so here is a Git present in your local system, and here is a GitHub that is present in the server. Fine. And here is your PC. So first you will update that changes to your local system. The Git that is present in your local, that first you will update that changes to the Git, and from there you will push that changes to the server. And here also, when you push that changes, it will not get merged automatically to the main branch. If this is a simple, you are working on a project with your single project, or maybe 2-3 guys project, but it will be some company project or something. At that time, it will not get merged automatically. So there is some separate team will be sitting here who will be seeing all those changes. They will take all those changes, they will integrate it, and they will merge it in the main branch. When they will merge, let's say you and your friend, you are Amit, and your friend, let's say name is Anup. Anup is here and Amit is here. Fine. You have made some changes. That changes is made in your laptop, in your local system. Anup has made some changes, and that changes is made in their local system. So when both of them first made the changes, commit their changes in their local first, and from local, when they push it to the server, then and only all the changes that you have made and your friend Anup has made get merged here. And when you again pull that code, then again you will be having the updated copy of the code which Anup has changed, and Amit will have a updated copy of the changes that Anup has made. Will you able to understand this?
Yes.
So what you have asked here, actually this thing, so let's, so what you have asked basically, so what we are doing when we started working here, let's say I have started building some application. Let's suppose, Amit, for your understanding, I am telling you, I have started from very scratch. Okay. I want to build one application. And we are three guys. First guy is here, second guy is here, and third guy is here. And we have a meeting with our manager. And our manager has initially assigned three different tasks to three of us. They have assigned task 1 to me, task 1 to you, and task 3 to some different people. There is no code present here, nothing. You are starting from the very scratch. Zero code, you have written a 0 line of code. Is it fine? Now, you started writing the code for the task. Let's say this task is module 1. They have assigned one module that you have to write this module initially, and they have assigned module 2 to this developer and module 3 to this developer. And they have started writing from the very scratch. Presently, they don't have anything. Now, in their local system, they have started the development on the module which they are asked to develop. So let's say when they develop, or let's say the manager wants to keep the track of your work, how much work you have done till now. So let's say you have started working today, and from morning till evening you have written something, you have worked on something, you have written some code. Same, this developer has also started working. They have spent complete whole day, and they have written some code, or whatever they have written something, and this developer has also written this same code. In the evening, the manager asks you, so I want to monitor I want to see what work you have done. So how you will show that work to your manager? And I want to see the work of all the three, and I want to integrate and see my outcome at the end of the today, and till what point we have reached in one day, how much work we have done. So now at the end of the day, what you will do, first you will commit that changes in your local repository in your system, and from there, let's say there is one repository that your manager has created. Fine. And this is a common repository to push all your changes, and they have shared that repository with all of you. Finally, all the three of you, and you from the local system, you have whatever work you have done till today, whole day, you have pushed that work to the repository, to the GitHub. Same way, this guy is also doing, 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 and they are done. Now, the manager, at the end of the day, manager will look at your work and see, let's say, he wants, you have done something wrong, or he doesn't want you to do that particular work in that way. So they may suggest you, see, Amit, this is the thing that I want. I do not want it in this way. So you change it. And you do, and he will suggest you do like that. Similarly, he will suggest some changes. Hey, this guy, he will suggest that you have made this thing, or this thing, I want it in this way. So now they will merge that this and now you Amit, you will have a code, only that code that you have written on your local system, but you do not have the code that this guy and this other guy is written in their system. But when you push that code to the server and this manager has approved it, and then they have suggested you to change something, now you are copying this code, you are pulling this code from the server to your local server. Local server is your Git. Git is your local server that is present in your laptop, in your system. And from the local server, you are taking the code as a working copy in which you are going to work further. And now the things will keep on going likewise. Is it clear to you right now or not? Amit, I am asking you from you. I want answer from you, please.
Yeah, this is fun.
This is fine?
Yeah.
Any question?
Nope.
Fine. So let me see now what next we are going to do. So let me tell you one more thing here. You can write this. This is very useful thing. I'm writing it here. So what will happen? Version control in which the complete code base, including its full history is mirrored on every developer computer. Will any one of you can read this complete line for me? Will any one of you can read this complete line for me?
Yes, I can read.
Okay, read, please.
Version control.
Okay, you please stop. Others, please, you read it.
Version control in which the complete
Code base,
including its full history, is mirrored on every developer's computer.
I suppose you can write this if you want to pen down. So I suppose this is clear to you. So this picture I have also taken from the Wikipedia only. No, this is I have taken from somewhere else. So now I'm going to close this. I am going to stop sharing you the screen. Not whiteboard. Now, see, there is not only one version control system is not there. There are other version controls are also present. Other version control systems are also present. I am giving you the name of few. This is called, one is called CVS. This was very famous in 90s. During 90s, this was the only version control that was very famous. It is called concurrent. I am just giving a little bit brief history. Concurrent version systems. Versions system. One was called SVN. It becomes very famous in 2000s. It is called subversion. And now Git become famous in late 2000. Git become famous in late 2000. It is developed in 2005. I suppose it is developed in 2005 and it becomes famous around 2009. That was late. Thereafter, when the Git came, till date, no one is able to replace it, and it becomes so much famous that almost 90 to 95% of the organization nowadays use Git as a version control system. Open source version control system. Open source version control system. So Git is used nowadays. But apart from Git, there are many different other version controls are also present. But you can see the market share of Git is almost 90 to 95%. And there are few big organizations. So they have their own system to manage their code base and everything. So they are not using this thing, but they are using this almost like the same thing because they are a huge organization. So they have built their own system to manage their code base and everything. Just like Git, they have built their own version control system. That's why they are using this. But most of the companies are still using this Git, and some of the companies which are using some other version control, they day by day they are switching to Git. This much famous Git has become. Let me tell you some more thing about GitHub. Now let me tell you, I have explained Git. Let's say GitHub. So GitHub now owned by Microsoft. It is called Git repository service. Git repository service. It is cloud-based. Is cloud-based, and this is open source projects. Public, private, repos. I suppose this is clear to you. GitHub is now owned by Microsoft. Git repository services. It is, you can host your Git repository on GitHub. Is it clear? I have told you at the starting, GitHub was, see, Git is a technology or version control system built by Linux, Torvalds, and GitHub is a cloud-based hosting services where you can host your Git repositories. So it is basically GitHub is a hosting services. There you can host your Git repository. It is cloud-based open source projects. It has a public and private repositories. So if you keep your repositories public, so anyone can see this repository. If you keep this private, no one can see your repository unless you give it a permission to see to some particular individual. Now, there comes very important thing, how you can use Git. So now we are going to learn using GitHub, how you are going to use GitHub. So there are three different broad ways to learn using. One is the GitHub desktop. GitHub desktop. One is the command line tool. Command line tool. Another is, let's say, IDEs. IDEs, let's say VS Code, PyCharm. Okay. So this is a desktop version of the GitHub. You can download it and use it. This is very easy to use. This is also very easy to use. So, but I'm not going to explain you this. This is very easy because if you understand this, all those things will become very. This is something that I am going to demonstrate you how we can use GitHub with the help of command line tool. Why I am going to explain you this with the help of command line? Because if you understand things with the help of the command line, then all your concept related to Git and GitHub will get clear crystal. And you can understand these things very easily. First, I will cover the command line tool. Then I will take one very simple project and I will show how you can commit your changes from the ID, that is VS Code. I will be using VS Code. I will be taking very simple project and I will show you from the VS Code how you can directly push your code to the GitHub. That will also be very easy. Only this thing will be a little complex. That's why I'm going to explain you this command line tool. And I suppose, so we will take a break, and thereafter a break, we will be meeting on the next session, other session. We will be conducting the other session. And in that session, we will practically see how we are going to do all those things with the help of the command line tool. So let's take a break of 20 minutes. I'm going to stop sharing my this recording. So I will see you in the next session.